Jasmine Crockett, the same woman who had spent several years demanding reparations, now says that giving money back to Americans is a bad idea? You can't make this up. Welcome back to the Kharisma Show. Let's get into the liberal meltdown. First up, we have Jasmine Crockett talking about we're not in the business of giving out money. Now, Jasmine Crockett is a professional race baiter and reparations queen. Just revealed her true priorities. After years of screaming about handouts, she suddenly has a problem with Trump's proposed DOGE dividend, potentially putting $5,000 back into your pocket. Take a listen.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
So, no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Excuse me, ma'am. That's all you've been pushing for. What happened to pay what's owed? Or does free money only count when it's pandering to your base? Don't you know that people are struggling? And she has the nerve to act like $5,000 is nothing.
Yeah, I'm staying on Crooked Crockett's ass tonight. Crooked Crockett said she don't know what $5,000 would do for us. What the fuck? I'm pretty sure it'll do a lot. I mean, hell, I can pay my damn car note off. Let me drop $5,000 on my car. Somebody can pay their credit card bills down. Somebody can pay their car insurance up for 6 months or maybe a year. Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. I disagree with her on this. How the hell you gonna tell us you don't know what we can do with $5,000? Oh, you got that much money to where you saying $5,000 ain't shit? Obviously, it ain't shit to you. Obviously.
Jasmine Crockett, you said you don't know what $5,000 would do for me. Well, give it here and let me figure it out. This lady is crazy.
There's no way Jasmine Crockett had the audacity to say we're not in the business of handing out money, but at the same time, the Democrats are handing out all the money. Oh my God, I'm so angry behind that. How are you gonna have the nerve to go on TV and say that? Y'all not in the business of handing out money, but y'all gave all the money away during that administration. Please make this make sense. I don't know. I'm convinced they're free falling. They're out of control. This is out of control. First and foremost, the other bald-headed black lady that came up there, what was her name? Anaya Presley, gonna tell everybody she want to censor the American people. And y'all okay with this? I'm done. I'm out of here, man. It was so real. I had to double back because it pissed me off so bad.
So I was just sitting here scrolling on TikTok, minding my business, and I seen something with House Representative Jasmine Crockett. She thinks that Americans don't need the $5,000. How out of touch are you, sweetie? You don't think the American people deserve $5,000 of their own money? This is not a gift from the government. Our money made the government. In fact, you wouldn't be sitting in the position you're in right now without our tax dollars rolling through this government. So please stop speaking on what you think American people need.
So Jasmine Crockett said today, Representative Jasmine Crockett said that Americans do not need $5,000. In fact, she doesn't even know what you will do with it. This just goes to show how disconnected the Democrats are from the American people.
Jasmine Crockett is on the losing side in this. If she wants to argue with Trump about different things, rebate checks are not the thing to argue with Trump about. So this woman actually went on TV talking about how she is against Donald Trump potentially giving $5,000 rebate checks to every American family. She even went on to say, what is $5,000 going to do for you? I don't know what $5,000 is supposed to do for you. And then she went on to say that we're not in the business of giving out money. So you mean to tell me that the American taxpayer dollar can be sent to countries and organizations and people all over the world without our consent. But when it comes to Americans actually receiving a small fraction of those taxpayer dollars back in the forms of a $5,000 rebate check, your response is, we're not in the business of giving out money. People in your district elected you to serve their interests. You're not in the business of giving money back to them and helping put money back in their pocket. But you are in the business of funding migrants, staying in luxury hotels in New York City. You are in the business of making sure that our tax dollars go to different countries all over the world so we can fund transgender sex change operations. You're okay with that. But when asked about a rebate check, a small rebate check of $5,000, you say, we're not in the business of handing out money.
Jasmine, real Americans aren't living in your DC fantasy line. That money matters. Now, if it wasn't bad enough, when you're a woke Democrat, you never expect actual pushback. And this is exactly what happened when Charlemagne the God gently pointed out that government is full of waste, fraud, and abuse. Well, did you know how she responded? She fell apart. Jasmine Crockett fell apart. Take a listen.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government, though.
I'm not going to say that there's a lot. I'm going to say that it does exist. I'm going to say that it exists. I don't think that there's a lot. I think.
So why are we so in debt then?
This is basic logic. And she just sat there looking stunned. Like, for someone who spends all day ranting about government handouts, she sure doesn't want to talk about where all of your money is going. Maybe it's going into the pockets of the politicians like her. But I'm going to remind Jasmine of where all this money is going and let Trump remind you, because he brought the receipts. Take a listen.
Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things I just said. Just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised it took so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people. Well, that's okay, maybe that's possible. 90 to 99, maybe it's possible. It's a lot of people, though, at that. But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000. Wow, that's a lot. That means over 100 years old. They have 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. That can't possibly be, because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in. People from 130 years old to 139-year-old, 3,936,000. Wow. I wonder if people are getting paid with all this. I mean, are these checks? And that's what we're checking right now. People from 140 years old to 149 years old, 3,542,000. 140 years old and beyond. Now we're really going, because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old, 1,345,000. These are by the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. They're super. I asked Elon, who are these DOGE people? He said they're super brilliant computer people and they love the country. It's simple. Wait a minute. People from 160 years old to 169 years, 121,000. So 160-year-old people. 170 to 179,000, 6,087. But now, let's go into the real numbers. From 200 to 209 years old, 879 people. From 210 years old, I haven't met any of them. And if I did, I would bless them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years, 866. From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039. And then you have two people. From 240 years old to 249 years old, one person. And there's one person that's 360 years old. That's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance. Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice, $25 million to go into Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister. He just left, as you know, 2 days ago. But we're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about voter turnout here? Oh, we've done that, I guess. We did $500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eshkali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're doing it. But when I saw the Social Security numbers, I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out now.
This is why people can hate Trump, because he calls out the corruption in both parties. And you know what? He actually wants to give back to the American people. Meanwhile, Jasmine Crockett and her friends, well, crickets. If it's not lining her pockets and her friends' pockets, she's not concerned about you. They're only in it for themselves. So here's my final word on this vile woman, okay? Jasmine Crockett has no business in Congress. She struts around like she's got all the answers, but her latest stunt, wanting to tell Elon Musk to F off, proved that she's more about grandstanding than governing.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Musk is out here trying to cut waste and fix a bloated system. And Crockett's respond? A crude tantrum. She's not interested in solutions. She just wants a spotlight. Congress needs serious people who can handle big ideas, not hotheads who think they know it all and act like it and act so ghetto and so vile and so disgusting. It's time for her to go. Moving on to our reaction segment, where a woman is crying all about her dad getting detained to be deported after 30 years in the U.S. illegally. And she's crying. I mean, it's understandable that she's sad, and I feel her pain, but let's be real. He was there 30 years illegally. And this is what she has to say. Take a listen.
I don't really know how to start to begin to tell this news and what I am about to ask for, that I am asking everyone watching this video so desperately to help me and my family. Hello everyone. This is my father, Luis. He's currently being detained in an ICE detention center. Trying to just read this off. What I have originally written my GoFundMe for an update. He was first detained in the detention center in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and has now been moved to a detention center in Texas, and his whereabouts of what specific detention center is still unknown. On Tuesday, February 11th, my dad was on his way to work early in the morning around 6 a.m. when an officer asked him for his ID. In a moment of panic of fear, my dad knew what was coming. My father is a hardworking, caring, loving, and godly man with no criminal record.
Hold up. Your father is a caring and godly man with no criminal record? Sweetheart, may I remind you, your dad came into the country illegally. He has broken the law. Okay? That's the first law that he's broken. Let's be clear about that. So don't say that your dad has not broken the law, that he has a clean criminal record. No, he doesn't. If he's there illegally, he is an illegal immigrant and he's a criminal. He has broken the law. Let's just put that out there. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's continue.
He has been nothing but kind, not only to his family, but to his friends, his neighbors, and entire community. To know my father is to know that he would never hurt a fly or cause anyone harm. He has lived in this country for 30 years and has faced unimaginable hardships, including 2 brain tumors and more recently a stroke that has left him fragile. He is in no condition to be in this situation. For so many years, my father has worked tirelessly to provide for our family. He's one of the many immigrants who have contributed to this country's economy, yet he has struggled with the legal system, facing severe challenges in obtaining his papers.
Okay, I get all of that, and I feel that all the challenge that your dad has gone through, he has not hurt anyone. But let me say with love, The fact that your dad came to the United States illegally 30 years ago, and then he probably had, I don't know if he brought you guys or he had you guys in the US, but that was putting his family at risk. Coming into the country illegally and then starting a family is hurting your family because you're putting your family at risk that he can be deported and sent back, and then the family is broken up. The family is separated. So you're saying that he's not hurt anyone. He won't hurt anyone. Well, he has, because he's put the family at risk and in a vulnerable situation. And I get it that it's your dad and you can't see straight. I know there's a bias and I get it. And I feel your pain that you're feeling right now. But reality is he's an illegal immigrant. He was there illegally, and this is all based, my commentary is just based on what you're saying in this video, okay? And he hasn't hurt he didn't hurt anyone, hasn't hurt anyone. Well, that is not quite true.
Unfortunately, he had been misled in the past by dishonest lawyers who had given him false hope for a better future. My father means everything to me.
And once again, liberals always put the blame on somebody else. Gentlemen, you know exactly what you were doing when you came into the US illegally. So even though, yes, there's shady lawyers out there who mislead people, especially illegal immigrants, just to get any money from them, but you know exactly what you were doing.
He has shown me what it means to start from nothing, to build a life with hard work and sacrifice. As the eldest child in his family in Ecuador, he took responsibility by providing for his loved ones. He came to this country, fell in love with my mother, and gave my sister and I a life filled with love and support. I am proud to be my father's daughter, and I will do everything in my power to reunite him with our family. Luis is a father, a husband, a brother, a son, and a loving man who has sacrificed so much for those he loves. Now it is my turn to fight for him. And I am asking, so desperately, and I apologize for it, for any possible help to cover legal fees and other expenses to ensure that this nightmare ends. Please help me fight this battle for him. I love and miss him so dearly, and I cannot bear another night without my father. And so God bless you all who are watching this video. I read that directly from what was on my GoFundMe page, and I never thought that, like, my last video was just bringing awareness to what's going on. And unfortunately, my family has been hit with the most traumatic experience I can never imagine. And truthfully, I am so scared of what's to come. And
reality is, darling, is that when you take this chance, I am sure he was constantly looking over his shoulder for the last 30 years, knowing that someday this could eventually happen, that he would have been detained and he would have been detained to be sent back. Like, when you take a chance like this, there's always that reality sitting on your shoulder that it's going to happen and can happen. So I get that she's broken up, and I get there's tears and all of that. But the reality is he broke the law, and now he probably will be sent back. Okay? So I'll end this video at that point right there, because there's nothing else more for me to say, really. I get the tears, I get the sadness, I get the distress, but he was there illegally. And he knew in his heart and hearts. Remember when she said he knew when he got pulled over, he just knew what was going to happen, because he knew. He knew that he was there illegally, and that any day he could have been detained. So if you break the law for 30 years, there are always going to be consequences, right? I don't understand why the left thinks that rules don't apply to them. Like, why don't you think these rules apply to you and your dad? It's just unbelievable to me that they always present that there's a certain rules for the Dems and the liberals, and they can do anything without any consequence. And then there's a different set of rules for the people on the right and the Republicans and the conservatives. And that it's just baffling to me. But I move on. Let's move on to the Raw and Unfiltered, where I show you no holds bar reactions from everyday average Americans talking about the lunacy and liberal meltdown. And the first up is this woman who said that she's voted for the Democrats all her life and they never did anything that they promised. Take a listen.
I voted for Democrats my whole life. They never did anything they promised. They would come to the black church and sing some Negro spirituals with us and then disappear, peer. Once they got our vote, they never did anything they promised. I vote for a Republican once in my life, and this dude done did everything he promised on steroids. He ain't even been in office 2 months, and everything I voted for, I'm getting. It's amazing. Do he sleep? Like this dude, if he sleeps, he wake up on a mission to do what Nakia voted for. He said, Nakia want me to fix that border. I'm on it. Nakia want to make sure them tax dollars is being spent for Americans more than anybody else. I'm on it. Like this dude wakes up, I feel like, with me in mind. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he be thinking about me. It's like being at the casino. You put in that Democrat coin, you put it in and you pull the thing and
Nothing comes out.
You don't win. You put in another Democrat coin and you pull the thing and no, you didn't win. You put in that Republican coin. I put in a Republican coin for the first time. Pulled the ding. I freaking won. Wow. So you know what that tells me? That tells me to never vote for Democrats again in life. Ever. Because you're not going to win with them. I voted for a Republican once. And hit the jackpot, honey. I will continue to do that again and again and
There you have it. Cha-ching! And next up, we have a woman saying that Jasmine Crockett is not representing her people. Take a listen.
Idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
So no, we are not in the business of giving out money.
Unless it's $50 million for condoms in Gaza or $2 million for LGBT activism in Guatemala, because somehow that helps Americans.
And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
This is a pinnacle of corruption. Those are taxpayer funds. That's not money being given away. There's so much to unpack here. If you don't understand what's wrong, that is a United States representative being asked if she believes that American taxpayers should receive $5,000 back that the Department of Government Efficiency found funds that would have been misused in the first place. Not only was her answer no, we're not in the business of giving away money, she's also so out of touch with her constituents, she had the audacity to ask, what is $5,000 going to do for you? $5,000 is a substantial amount for the average American family that can help you get by and improve your quality of life. It's not like this is a handout. This is your money that you already paid the government that they were going to misuse to send condoms to Gaza. A lot of the programs that were cut were for unnecessary foreign aid or unnecessary government spending. They would rather fund unnecessary programs halfway around the world than actually help the people that they're paid to represent. Her average salary is $174,000 a year. The average American salary is $66,000. That's why she can't relate to you. You are paying her to withhold your own funds from you.
Facts. And then we have another woman talking about she only cares about her own pockets. Take a listen to this.
How long are y'all gonna go hard for Jasmine Crockett? She's not for you. She's not for the people. She's putting on a show and she's lining her pockets. If she actually really cared about the people, she would be going for more money. Instead of saying that the United States government isn't in the business of handing out money, even though they're giving it to men who sleep with other men in South Africa, even though they're giving it to Ukraine by the billions, even though 100 billion of that money is missing, even though they're giving it to all of these migrants who have come in and have not paid into this system at all, even though they're giving the money to, obviously, these lawmakers who are compounding their money exponentially by the year. Jasmine Crockett is saying that America is not in the business of giving money to its citizens. What? But she could be fighting for us to be getting more money. The argument could have been, instead of 20% of the savings going back to the American people, why is it not 50% of the savings going back to the American people? Why is it not 70% of the savings going back to the American people? No, that was not her argument. She said, what can $5,000 do? And she said, they're not in the business of giving us money. $5,000 could do a whole lot for a whole lot of people, actually. $5,000 could do a lot for me. I know that. That's helping somebody get out of credit card debt. That's 6 months of somebody's car payment. That's childcare. That's groceries. That's repairs around the house. That's healthcare and medical bills. $5,000 can actually be pretty life-changing for the average American, but Jasmine Crockett is not the average American, nor does she care about the average American. I don't know when y'all gonna pick that up.
Exactly. She doesn't care about the average American. She cannot relate. Jasmine Crockett is a thug, a ghetto thug with no decency. I don't know if you heard of this. Only like people from the Caribbean won't understand. She has no brought up see. If you can relate to me, my Caribbean people, I'm from Barbados originally, so you know what I'm saying. Jasmine Crockett has no brought up see. She's vile, she's ghetto, and she's disgusting. And I've said what I said about her. Now, moving on, before I wrap up, I'm excited to introduce a new segment to the show called Savage Trump, where I will be featuring a Trump Unfiltered moment. And I mean, I just have so many examples of this. And today I'm going to kick off with two of them. And drum roll, please. Now it's time for today's Savage Trump moment. Let's go.
When you people don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. A question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her. No. It's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do. How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Ask my question.
You've been asking a question for 10 minutes. So please sit down. Look. You know you're a fake. You know that. Your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake. And most of you, and not all of you, but the people are wise to you. That's why you have a lower approval rating than you've ever had before, times probably 3.
Americans were scared, though. I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
You've said repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting, they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said
that
why
don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
My question to you
get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My question to you is, how is that going to impact?
Excuse me, you didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else. Let's give it a shot.
Governor Cuomo, as you played in that clip, has indeed praised a lot of what the federal government has done, but he...
Excuse me. He didn't say a lot. He said we did a phenomenal job. He didn't say a lot. He didn't say you did a good job on ventilators but nothing else. No, he said we did a phenomenal job. So report accurately, because you are one of the most inaccurate reporters. People have been
just absolutely excoriated by some of the fake news, like you, your CNN, your fake news. And let me just tell you, they were excoriated by people like you that don't know any better because you don't have the brains you were born with.
Why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go over
pointed
here.
to me. I have two questions, Mr.
Next,
President.
next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague
Okay.
finish. But can I ask you a
Ladies and
question?
gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. Trump is the savage. And I'm going to wrap this segment up with one final video that he just burnt a reporter this week. Take a listen.
What do you say to people who worry that targeting an individual firm or individuals who aren't Jack Smith for
Excuse
his
me.
actions?
I've been targeted for 4 years, longer than that. So you don't tell me about targeting. I was the target of corrupt politicians for 4 years, and then 4 years after that. So don't talk to me about targeting.
Don't talk to me about targeting. Good. I just love it when he puts these mainstream media woke reporters and journalists in their places, like sit down. I'm not speaking to you. It's not your turn. Like he just savagely put them in their place. And I am here for it. We're not letting this hypocrisy slide. And if you're tired of corrupt politicians gaslighting the American people, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below and let me know which story here that I shared with you today made your blood boil the most. And I'll see you next time on the Kharisma Show. I'll see you on Monday. Tomorrow it's going to be a mashup of all the most insane, unhinged liberal meltdown. So stay tuned for that episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.